Good morning, students. Hope you will be fine at your respective places. Last time we were discussing the role of various essential elements जो हमने पढ़े उनकी जो role है, what are the various functions they are going to perform, what are the deficiencies. Today we will start new topic rather in this mineral nutrition, that is the deficiency symptoms. Deficiency symptoms of essential elements. जो हमने पढ़ा that is different macro and micro elements we have discussed their role हमने पढ़ा, their deficiency हमने पढ़ा, and what we जो हम वहां पर conclude करते हैं कि what was the conclusion we draw from those videos, that due to the less availability of essential elements, plant growth जो है it gets retarded. Now एक टर्म हमारे पास आती है which we try to discuss, critical concentration. हमारे पास एक टर्म आती है that is called as critical concentration. What do we mean by the critical concentration? Critical concentration, it is the concentration, rather minimum concentration. It is the concentration of essential elements. It is the concentration of essential elements below which the plant shows deficiency. That is, it is the minimum concentration below which the plant shows deficiency symptoms rather. This is the term what we mean by the critical concentration. That is the less amount, that is the minimum amount of the minimum concentration of the essential elements below which जब हम देखते हैं कि plant में हम क्या देखते हैं कि that it will start showing these deficiencies. The element which is the element जो है by which the plant shows deficiency, that element is called as deficient. The element by which the plant shows deficiency, that is called as deficient, and that element is below this critical concentration. Now हमारे पास एक और टर्म भी है that is called as mobile elements. एक और टर्म हमारे पास है जो इसमें आता है deficiency symptoms. कि deficiency symptoms हम क्या देखते हैं कि when the concentration of essential elements जो minimum है below which the plant show deficiency, that is called as critical concentration. We have seen that if some certain elements are deficient, जो हमने regarding this definition, that plant में हम क्या देखते हैं कि we will find the symptoms in that plant. Now what we will see, when deficiency of such when deficiency जो हम देखते हैं कि of such elements is removed, that by artificial means we provide these elements to the plant, we will see जो हम symptoms देखते हैं they may disappear, वो disappear हो जाते हैं. But due to continuous, अगर हम ये देखते हैं कि when there is a what we call as this continuous supply of these elements, deficiency of these elements, जो plant जो होता है it starts, जो plant it will die. I will show you this by this example. This is the soil layer. This is the underground part of the plant and this is the what we will call as the upper ground part of this plant. This is the upper ground part of the plant, and here we will see there are the leaves. These are older leaves. This is the acropatical. What we will see, these are the leaves. Now these are the young leaves. As far as the minerals are being absorbed, as far as the elements are available in the plants, we will see no deficiency will be found in this plant. And the plant जो होगा, essential elements अगर they are available to the plant, we will see that the plant जो होगा, it will show normal growth and development. नहीं, यूं ही अब जो सप्लाई होगी एलिमेंट्स की, उसमें हम क्या देखते हैं कि रुकावट आ जाती है. जो हम देखते हैं उसका असर हम क्या देखते हैं कि जो प्लांट की नॉर्मल ग्रोथ होती है, इसकी जो डेवलपमेंट होती है, उसमें रुकावटें आ जाती है. दैट द प्लांट डू नॉट शो द नॉर्मल ग्रोथ एंड डेवलपमेंट. नाउ देयर are some elements. For example, we have got elements nitrogen, we have got this potassium, we have got magnesium. What we will see, these elements, they are being absorbed by the plant, and then these plants, they are taken to the first the older parts, then to the younger parts. I'm taking it to all parts of the plant they are taken, and this process it जो होती है, it remains in continuous form. जो ही हम क्या देखते हैं कि that the supply of these elements is stopped, कि that the soil is deficient in nitrogen, that the soil is deficient in potassium, that the soil is deficient in magnesium. We will see जो deficiency symptoms होंगे वो इस plants में show होने लगते हैं. That the plant now shows the deficiency symptom. हम इसमें क्या देखते हैं कि जो ओल्डर पार्ट्स होते हैं, जिनमें ये मिकदार ज्यादा, जिनमें ये एलिमेंट्स ऑलरेडी मौजूद होते हैं, वहां से हम क्या देखते हैं, सी नाउ दिस हैज बीन डिसकंटिन्यूअस. अब जो ओल्डर पार्ट्स है, फ्रॉम दिस पार्ट दीज एलिमेंट्स दैट इज nitrogen, potassium and magnesium, they start moving towards the younger parts. They start moving towards the younger parts. So here we will see, अब जब यहां पर पूरा एक्सट्रैक्शन इन एलिमेंट्स का होगा, जो ओल्डर पार्ट्स होंगे उसमें हम देखेंगे सिम्टम्स पहले डिसअपियर हो जाते हैं, एंड देन दे आर बीइंग फॉलोड बाय द यंगर प्लांट्स. Such elements which can move from older to the younger plants. Such elements which can move from the older to the younger parts, these are called as mobile elements. And in this case हम जो क्या देखते हैं कि जो symptoms होते हैं, they first appear in the older parts, then the symptoms, they are being shown by the what we call as the younger parts. अब जो हमारे पास मोबाइल एलिमेंट्स है, these are nitrogen, these are potassium, these are magnesium. Now एक और सिचुएशन हमारे पास अराइज हो जाती है कि हमारे पास कुछ नॉन मोबाइल एलिमेंट्स भी है. हमारे पास कुछ नॉन मोबाइल एलिमेंट्स भी है. नॉन मोबाइल एलिमेंट्स, what we will see, we have got two, sulfur and calcium. These are the non-mobile elements. Again, we will draw the diagram. This is the soil layer. Again, this is the what we call underground part. Then we will see plant की जो होगी, it is the upper ground part. These are the leaves. Now here we will see these are the older leaves, etc. Now sulfur and calcium are found there. As far as there is the continuous supply of this sulfur and calcium to the plant, we will see जो deficiency होगी plant में वो हमको नहीं देख पाते हैं. लेकिन अब हम क्या देखते हैं कि अब इन elements की हम क्या देखते हैं कि that the soil is deficient in these elements, so no absorption of these elements takes place from the soil. So what happens there कि what we will see there, हम यहां पर क्या देखते हैं कि कि इसमें हमने क्या देखा मोबाइल एलिमेंट्स में कि जो ओल्डर पार्ट्स थे वहां से एलिमेंट मूव हो जाते थे, ओल्डर पार्ट से एलिमेंट्स मूव हो जाते हैं टुवर्ड्स द यंगर पार्ट, लेकिन यहां पर दीज एलिमेंट्स दे कैन नॉट मूव फ्रॉम द ओल्डर पार्ट्स टू द यंगर पार्ट्स. सो हियर वी विल सी simply no movement of elements from older to younger. See here. So जब हमने मोबाइल एलिमेंट्स में देखा जो सिम्टम्स फर्स्ट अराइज हो जाते हैं वो यंगर ओल्डर पार्ट्स में सिम्टम्स अराइज हो जाते हैं, क्योंकि यहां से जो एलिमेंट्स होते हैं दीज मोबाइल एलिमेंट दे आर बीइंग एक्सट्रैक्टेड टुवर्ड्स दे मूव टुवर्ड्स द यंगर पार्ट. सो फिर हम क्या देखते हैं कि जो यंगर पार्ट्स है उसमें पहले यंग ओल्डर पार्ट्स में दिखाई देते हैं फिर इन यंगर पार्ट्स में. अब यहां पर मोबाइल नहीं होते, यहां पर मूवमेंट ऑफ एलिमेंट्स नहीं हो जाते. सो हम यहां पर क्या देखते हैं कि जो सिम्टम्स हम देखते हैं दे आर शोन इन द यंगर पार्ट्स देन इन द ओल्डर पार्ट्स देन इन द younger part. So these are the mobile and non-mobile elements. Mobile elements क्या होते हैं? When the soil is deficient in some elements, these elements they move from the older parts to the younger parts. And here we will see that deficiency, जो deficiency symptoms हम देखते हैं, they are first shown in the older parts, then in the younger parts. While as in case of the non-mobile elements they do not move. When there is the deficiency of these elements in the soil, the elements do not move from the older to the younger parts. So here we will see that deficiency first arise in the older parts then in the younger parts. हाँ, यहां पर हम क्या deficiency first arise in the younger part then in the older part. यहां पर हम क्या deficiency पहले younger parts में दिखाई देती है फिर older parts में दिखाई देती है. Now let us move further. Now there are some general symptoms. There are some general symptoms which are found in the elements, which are found in the plant. First जो हमारे पास है what is that? That is the chlorosis. इसमें हम क्या देखते हैं? प्लांट जो होता है इसमें कौन सी डिफिशियंसी हो जाती है? There is the yellowing of leaves. That is no chlorophyll formation takes place, and this chlorosis it takes place due to the deficiency of what are the various elements by which deficiency takes place. It is the nitrogen, it is the potassium, it is this magnesium, it is this sulfur, it is iron, it is what we call as the manganese, it is this zinc, and ultimately the molybdenum. So first is this chlorosis. Second जो हमारे पास है necrosis. When the what we'll see the symptoms appear, and here we will see in this case what we will see there is the necrosis में हम क्या देखते हैं? Symptoms क्या होते हैं? Death of cells, tissues and organs वो हो जाता है, and it is because of the deficiency of different elements, and those elements are nitrogen, this calcium, this is because of this magnesium, this is because of this copper and this potassium. अगर हम एक और एलिमेंट की सिम्टम की बात करेंगे दैट इज द सेल डिवीजन inhibition. When there takes place जो सेल डिवीजन होते हैं वो अच्छी तरह से नहीं हो पा सकती है. The elements which inhibits slows down the process of cell division. Here we will see that is इसमें क्या हो जाता है? Slowing down of the rate of cell division, and it is caused by the deficiency of various elements like nitrogen, like what we call the potassium, like we call the sulfur, and we have got molybdenum. एक और हमारे पास है डिलेड फ्लावरिंग. कभी कभार हम क्या देखते हैं कि प्लांट में फ्लावरिंग जो होती है वो बहुत देर से हो जाती है. अगर हम इसके कुछ रीजंस देखेंगे, व्हाट आर द वेरियस एलिमेंट्स विच आर रेस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर दिस, दैट इज नाइट्रोजन, दैट इज सल्फर, एंड दैट इज molybdenum. So we will see that the deficiency of one element, we will see that the deficiency of one element can cause so many morphological and structural changes. For example, this nitrogen, it causes chlorosis. This nitrogen, it is also the cause of the cell division inhibition. This nitrogen is also the cause of the delayed flowering. So we will see an element जो होता है, that the deficiency of one element can cause many morphological and structural changes. Again, अगर हम एक और एग्जांपल लेंगे, this potassium, it is responsible for chlorosis. This potassium, again, it is responsible for cell inhibition. This potassium, it is again responsible for this necrosis. So we can conclude that the deficiency of one element, can have multiple effects, not only one effect. Due to the deficiency of nitrogen, there may be chlorosis, there may be the cell inhibition, there may be the delayed flowering. Similarly, by the deficiency of potassium, there may be inhibition of cell division, there may be necrosis, there may be chlorosis. So we can say one element deficiency can have multiple effects on plant growth and plant development. This was today's topic. We have discussed what we called as this term, that's the critical concentration. जिसमें हमने ये पढ़ा that the minimum, that is the concentration of the essential element below which जो plant जो होता है, it shows deficiency symptoms. And we have discussed two types of elements, mobile elements and non-mobile elements. Mobile elements क्या होता है कि when there is a deficiency of elements in the soil, अब वो elements क्या होता है, they move from the older part to the younger part. So in this case, the deficiency, they appear first in the older part, then in the younger part. Non-mobile में क्या, if there is a deficiency of these elements in the soil, they cannot get absorbed. We will see that these elements, they cannot move from one part to the other part within the same plant. Here we will see जो deficiency symptoms, they first arise in the younger part, then in the older part. This was about the deficiency symptoms, and in the next video we will try to discuss the toxicity when the concentration of the essential elements, it is more, इसकी concentration बहुत ज्यादा होती है. देन हम क्या देखते हैं कि प्लांट में कुछ ऐसी हरकत और सकनात पाया जाता है, दैट दीज एलिमेंट दे beside being the what we call as the useful, they become the toxic for the plant. We will study them in the next video. Until then, goodbye. God bless you. Thanks.